The state of K through 12 American education has, especially in election years, led to serious questions on quality. These questions invariably have led to particular school leaders who are viewed as those responsible for the in-school experience. These individuals have been charged with ensuring educational standards while implementing reforms. The general public, state agencies, and politicians are demanding better quality in schools. As a result, more is expected of school leaders, and expectations are that they be capable individuals well trained in the art and practice of effective school leadership. To fulfill this, national agencies have designed standards of expected school leadership behaviors and practices. The principle behind the standards is to hold children to high expectations, as well as accountable those responsible for their education. The standards are being used to build infrastructure to measure school effectiveness and to ensure that individuals have the requisite knowledge, disposition, and skills necessary to recognize the existing circumstances and craft collaborative environments along with needed capacity to properly prepare children to live and flourish in today's social, political, and work environment. The first use of the standards is to measure the effectiveness of school leadership. Inherent in this understanding is the idea that there are specific patterns and practices that can be learned and implemented by all school leaders. Clear standards allow for the uniform application and measure of these practices, and lessens the ambiguity of determining what effectiveness is. Knowing what these objectives are allows a comparison of leaders to objective measures to determine effectiveness. The new thrust of the standards emphasizes instructional leadership. It requires the school leader to support a collaborative school culture focused on teaching and learning, while providing professional development and using data to evaluate performance. To do this, the leader needs to be well versed in the process and procedures that can be used to align professional development activities with school improvement initiatives, involving school stakeholders in decision making and analyzing data to improve student learning outcomes. In order to accomplish all this, the school leader needs to accurately understand the current school conditions and then clearly articulate a vision of instructional leadership that moves the current reality toward the vision. Building a collaborative environment is key, established in a climate of trust and mutual respect that individuals feel empowered and free to be creative and offer suggestions for improvement and attainment of goals. In other words, the school leader must become a team builder. The school leader then builds capacity by applying all the best practices available to improve academic outcomes of students. This occurs at multiple levels, whether sustaining professional development programs for staff to better understand new practices to help children succeed, or in implementing better processes for planning, organization, communication, and problem solving. School leaders must be able to work in groups, working collaboratively on a common flow of problems. They must be lifelong learners of their craft, constantly improving in its application to achieve tasks. They must develop traits of patience, perspective, wisdom, and good judgment, along with enhancing and adding new technical and analytical skills. They must be sensitive to cultures and highly skilled communicators, doing all this with a high level of personal values and integrity in all aspects that affect the future and the present of children and staff. As a result, university leadership programs are modifying their curricula to be standards-based and driven. In a parallel path, standards are used to develop assessment instruments to measure the extent of proficiency school leaders have achieved in the various areas. Some of these instruments, as we'll see later in this course, are used in the certification, licensure, or training process. In order to address what criteria would help shape the standards, the National Policy Board for Education Administration, or NPBEA, provided the impetus for their development. The NPBEA coordinated with its member organizations to advance the professional standards for educational administration. Initially, it started out with two goals. One, to develop common or higher standards for state licensure principles, and two, to develop a common set of guidelines for the National Council for Accreditation of Teacher Education for advanced programs in educational leadership. The work of the NPBEA, along with other member organizations, led to the development and implementation of the Interstate School Leader Licensure Consortium Standards. These are the standards that have become the de facto measure for school leaders. The Interstate School Leader Licensure Consortium Standards is in actuality a program of the Council of Chief State School Officers, also known as CCSSO. The nationwide organization is composed of public officials who comprise head of K-12 education departments for all the states, the District of Columbia, the Department of Defense Educational Activity, and 5 other state jurisdictions. The standards include a common core to inform program instructional content and assessment tools for awarding new principal licensure and advanced certification. These are comprised in 6 standards that focus on knowledge, performance, and disposition of school leaders. For each focus in each standard, there are indicators of effectiveness. Altogether, these standards offer a shared vision to school leaders of what they should know and be able to do. There is a list on Blackboard of the standards along with their specific indicators. It's available in the Content tab in the Day 1 folder. The Educational Leadership Constituent Council, otherwise known as the ISLLC, which is comprised of the associations listed in this slide, first developed a set of guidelines to use in their review of school preparation programs. These guidelines were then combined with the ISLLC Standards. The final product is what is used by NCATE in their review of leadership preparation programs. Programs are assessed on how well graduates perform in the workplace. As a result, school leadership preparation programs have incorporated the ISLLC standards into their curriculum to ensure that the students can acquire and develop skills and attributes necessary to be effective school leaders. The final product that emerged from these efforts were 6 standards with 103 indicators. Of these, 43 indicators describe the knowledge base needed by school leaders. Another 43 the disposition of the effective school leader, and the remaining 97 address the outcome performance expected of the school leader. Relative to each standard, the school leader's purpose is to promote the success of all students. The knowledge indicators identify the minimum knowledge base necessary to accomplish the task described by a specific standard. These are what a school leader needs to know in order to promote success of the students and identify appropriate and acceptable processes to address the task denoted by the standard. In addition to the task, the leader needs knowledge relative to all the various facets of education. School leaders interact with a variety of individuals and groups in situations where the leader's disposition is a major determinant of success. The disposition denotes the leader's beliefs, values, and types of commitment that contributes to the most effective operation of a school. Finally, for a school leader to achieve the desired outcome in an efficient and effective manner, the leader will have to take specific steps to ensure that certain actions occur during the various processes used. Those steps must be effective and can be assessed through different indicators.